and action.
An action once again.
That was a terrible slate clap and action. There we go. Better.
What was I painting? I was painting gold. Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I will find it. Ah, yes, I was painting the butt.
So I may have comedically timed the break.
Mm-hmm.
So I could say, so the other paths.
The other paths.
Do you remember like an hour and a half ago when I was like, I'll talk about the paths that you can take? And then Tash was like, hey, what are the different aspects?
What about everything else you can do?
Yeah. Here we are, like an hour and a half later. And
look, I just have follow-up questions.
You do. It's true.
Shows I'm paying attention.
Okay.
Sorry, it's hard to paint and argue at the same time. Just like it's hard to paint and
well, maybe you should paint and not argue then.
And do many things, to be honest.
The hair looks pretty cool, by the way. So
far.
Thanks.
I really didn't expect it to come. I'm not really happy with it because I can see the issues. Like as I said earlier,
you'll touch it up past.
No, the priming I did was not very good.
Okay.
There was an issue with it because I use a spray, and I guess it's just not very good. I can't fix that. So.
Also, I like to speaking of having food and making food and stuff. Currently, aside from the obviously more painted parts, I can't help but think of white chocolate when I look at that.
Yeah.
Especially the base. I'm like, I could eat that.
Oh no, he's thinking about eating plastic, everyone.
Well, in reality, that's like some runic stone or some shit. So that's probably even worse to
Yeah.
Eat. But anyway,
it's had shoes on it. Look at it. You don't know where that's been.
Under the feet of an Eldar,
Yeah, and they're
honestly,
gross.
in 40k, there's worse things to eat.
Well, probably.
Anything that's had a Tyranid on or near it.
Well, maybe that's who they're fighting.
I thought we agreed that they were posing for aspect times or
no.
Or
you said that. I never agreed with that assessment.
This aspect of the Milky Bars are on me.
That's all I've got in my head now.
Yeah.
The entire song, if anyone remembers that from the 90s.
I wonder if we get all the iterations of people who played the Milky Bar Kid together and sacrifice them in a ritual, if we'll get some kind of dark god ourselves.
Jesus Christ, that went dark really quickly. I was like, where are we going with this? I'm pretty sure one of them's already dead, or at least some of them.
What? I didn't say that. You were thinking that's you making it dark.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and then you're like, let's sacrifice them and see what happens.
I just think that some form of chaos Milky Bar god could be really interesting.
Wow. Can we not do that, maybe? We already have enough chaos gods.
Do we?
Yes.
I guess I technically made an additional chaos god. That is true.
When? What? Why? Who? Oh, yes. Chaos.
Dissonance.
Dissonance.
Yeah.
Dissonance duck.
Well, Dissonance Duck is the avatar of Dissonance.
What a champ.
What a champ.
Was originally our driver.
Yeah, that I was going to say. I was going to say. Oh, yeah.
Finish
I
the
remember
sentence
now.
here, bud.
Well, no, because I was like, didn't he drive you guys? Why would a chaos, why was he driving you places?
He wasn't. He wasn't chaotic at that point.
Yeah.
Oh well, he wasn't a chaos, an avatar of chaos at that point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dissonance basically would flipped you guys off and was like, "Screw you."
This is
Speaking
our
of
duck now. I've messed this up. I've ruined lives.
Oh God, it's just the worst.
It actually is.
So essentially, speaking about paths, because I would like to
You
speak
like
about
to talk
paths, if
about the
that's
path?
okay with you.
I guess.
Like, God, it's just the worst being asked more questions, so we go deeper into like interesting lore. I hate it. Um, the Eldar in general will follow many paths.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, as a kid or as like a young adult, an Eldar might be like, "Yo, a little bit of war suits me." You know, they're young, they're passionate. Like later on in life, they may be like, "Let's do a little bit of art," and they, you know, go the path of the artisan. And then later on, when they're old and decrepit, they're like, "Let's read books."
Wow. This feels like an attack on me at this point.
It kind of is. So in general, they're not set to a path. But like the Exarchs, for example, they're like lifers. You know, they're like
Yeah,
the
they've
way of
committed to
war
one
is.
cause.
Yeah. So like this one you're painting, will forever be a Howling Banshee.
What do we think its name is? This one.
I was thinking Jamie.
Jamie. Why?
Yeah. I know because Jamie's a nice kind of like, you know.
I know, but this one's a bitch.
Oh, okay.
Badass bitch, but also a bitch to paint. So.
Jade.
Wow, that's accurate.
I've known a fair few Jades in my life, and they're always nut bars.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say. Yeah, no, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know why, but anyone called Jade is crazy, just hands down. Like,
I feel like that's not necessarily. That's a large generalization to say on the internet.
it really is, but it's also true. So there's
in
that.
your experience. Oh man, how did I get black on there? I'm white. What? Oh, it's red. Oh. This painting is such a. Okay.
So,
Called Jade. Got it.
essentially, the goal is to achieve a certain like state of mind, and essentially allow them to kind of like perfect their like craft, but they also kind of fragment their mind.
Oh.
So it's kind of like compartmentalization, right? So they essentially like take part of their desires and passions and etc. and like store it all in a part of their mind, and they're like, okay, this is warrior. And then they kind of store it there for later on when they
need it.
need it. And it also means that they kind of like exercise that part. So it's not like controlling them or dictating them. And that's often why they'll, you know, go through multiple different paths in their lifetime.
Yeah, because they can pop it away for another time.
I also just want to point out, because I know you can't see it, but the majority of chat is basically going like, I knew a Jade or I dated a Jade, and okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I have 2 friends called Jade, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have a friend called Jade, and I've known a couple of other Jades, and you know, it is how it is.
I'm just not gonna send this video. Is
Yeah, just every time I say Jade, just put a beep in. That'll be fun to run down. So yeah, essentially, once they like master a path, you know, it's not necessarily like they are the best or anything. It's pretty much like they reach the point where they are proficient, skilled, great at
Yeah.
it, they will move on to a new path. So, like a Howling Banshee could eventually at one point be like, okay, I'm a badass Howling Banshee. I'm now going to like craft Wraithbone for a while. And these will be like decades or even like a century it could take.
I kind of like that though, because I'm a real where I'll learn something and I'll teach myself something and I'm like, okay, now on to the next thing. Like I've taught myself loads of crafts doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe this is maybe I should be an Eldar.
Yeah. And like the interesting thing is like just because the paths help, they can also kind of hinder. Let's not talk about the Striking Scorpion original Phoenix Lord.
Well, now I mean, didn't I ask you that? I want to know.
I can give you a TLDR, or we could go into the longer portion of the story.
I've already like ruined the
notes.
pacing, and I'm already dragging the video with my painting. So TLDR.
TLDR?
Yeah.
Okay. Betrayed all the other Phoenix Lords, brought demons to a meeting and tried to kill everyone.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, now we might need to go into detail with that one.
Okay. So essentially, it was Asuryan was the first Phoenix Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Like the essentially, yeah, he was he the Phoenix Lord of the Dire Avengers? And he was kind of a badass. He was he the one who got destroyed by Cain? He's essentially was the living embodiment of a warrior.
Right, yeah.
He founded the first Aspect Shrine. We haven't really talked about the Aspect Shrines, but and he formed the Dire Avengers.
Yeah.
Which is probably why the Dire Avengers are the most kind of predominant and everything like that. I'm just double checking that he.
Yeah, make sure. And can I just say, I just did the gold circle around a gem slot, and I'm like, this is the best one I've done so far. I'm so proud of it. Right at the end, obviously, when I don't have much more gold to do.
That's still. So he we won't go too much into his story because we'll never end. Him and the him and some of the aspect the other Phoenix Lords basically formed the Path of Warrior and the Aspect Shrines, and then obviously the whole Slaanesh, She Who Thirsts, turned up, and it was like, well, it's kind of useful to have warriors and stuff, so let's carry on with this whole thing. And at some point, there was, I'm trying to find the name of this freaking guy again. Sorry, I closed some of my
some of your tabs because we moved past it, and I've returned us to it.
We have returned here. That's Cain. No, that's Asuryan. There we go. Aura.
Oh yeah, Aura.
Aura's really like cool and he looks evil.
Is he evil?
Yeah.
Real
I'll see
confident
if I
there.
can. There's not too much obviously because he was kind of there's a little bit of art I can show you.
Give me a moment. Oops.
I'm not sure this is official art, but the actual official art is kind of it's indescribable.
Oh, I mean, this
It's
looks really cool. I didn't expect him to look like that.
yeah, he's yeah, screw it. Aura eventually that was the like suggested art to begin with, so
Yeah.
it's not quite. So yeah, Aura founded the Striking Scorpions, and obviously people followed. The thing is like because we talked about the Striking Scorpions, they're a little bit stealthy, and you know they like to sneak in and then pop up and be like, "Ha, fooled you, bang."
Thanks.
So there's a lot of creeping and stalking in the shadows, and then like murdering people. And he kind of got consumed by that.
Did he go a little bit too far?
He yeah, essentially one of the dangers is you kind of get like consumed to your aspect and you get a bit you go a bit OTT. So being like a cunning bastard, you know end up basically being like, haha, I fooled you, it was a trap. So he Ara basically was like, hey, Asuryani and all you other Phoenix Lords, let's go to the first shrine, have a sit down, maybe have a barbecue, I'll bring the potatoes. And,
what is it with the potatoes this episode?
I mean, you follow the thread, you know.
I suppose, but still, lots of potatoes, right? Sorry, I got distracted. He was like, let's all go to the first shrine, let's hang out, like
Yes, let's
have
go
a
have a barbecue,
nice time.
potatoes. And he was like, oh, by the way, bought some friends. They're bringing the potatoes. Here they are. And they were demons. And he was like, haha.
Surprise.
Yeah. Essentially, he felt chaos to a certain degree. And the Phoenix Lords were all kind of defeated and they ran off and they disappeared into the stars for a while. Aura himself was like, yeah, fuck this, I'm out. And he ran off to the webway. Where he basically
Doesn't seem a great idea if he's already falling to chaos.
Well, I mean, you know, like if you're an Eldar who's kind of fallen and you used to be like the one of the lords of combat and etc., where do you go? Probably to the Dark Eldar.
Oh no.
Well, I mean, this is another reason why I was like, maybe TLDR, is because essentially, he went off and walked another path called the Path of Damnation, which is a whole other thing. It's essentially the Dark Eldar path.
Oops. Well, they made their choices. They know what they did.
Yeah. But he went off to Komarog, where all the Dark Eldar were chilling, and was like, hey, what's up? I'm a badass. And they're like, oh, hello, badass. What do you want to do? And he's like, I want to form the Incubi. And basically, he founded the first Incubus shrine, which is literally just dedicated to the band Incubus.
Right. I mean, solid reason there.
I really like Drive. Great song.
Yeah, it came on when I was driving the other day.
Small world.
Happens. The main time I listen to lots of random music is when I'm driving, so
Yeah, that's fair.
makes sense.
I think the only other one I can remember is "Wish You Were Here," but there are loads of good Incubus songs. But yeah, so Aura was like, yeah, fuck it, let's found the Incubus. So he essentially, that's where the Incubi come from. There is a theory that he is still alive and is another person who's basically called Drazar.
I mean, if you join the Dark Eldar, you need to be even more dramatic than you already were. So it makes sense that he would totally do that.
He's okay, I'm just gonna send you this. I apologize.
Sheepy likes making my life art.
I mean, once you look at this, you'll realize why.
Okay. Oh, he looks so cool.
Yeah, that's Drazar.
I absolutely do not want to paint him.
I mean, at the same time as really wanting to paint him.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this paintbrush I've been using gold with? I don't know. I feel like I would. No, it's this one. Sorry.
So, the Drazar's basic, the Incubi, in the Dark Elder Incubi, are basically like combat badasses, a lot like the Striking Scorpions, except for they are a bit more assholes. Even more so than just regular Eldar. But Drazar is kind of the badass of all badassery.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty metal.
You know what? Because this is my Dust Boys. This is Ahriman, the Arch Sorcerer of the Thousand Suns. This is what he says about Drazar. Though his aptitude for murder is legendary, my interest in Drazar lies elsewhere. None of the Drukhari whose minds I have seen know what he is or where he came from, but they do fear him, and rightly so. I suspect even the mighty Vect questions what this silent executioner is capable of. Could it be true that he is but dust encased in armor, like my own accursed brothers? And if so, is there a way that I can bend him to my will? I must be patient in this regard, but time will tell. Fucking Zinch Thousand Sorcerer bullshit with Thousand Suns Sorcerer bullshit, where it's just like, I will be patient, but time, it's
Time
like
will tell.
in 1,000 years he'll accomplish it and be like exactly as planned. But
all I had to do was wait.
Sorry, hat to mute cough. But yeah, Drazar's just kind of a scary badass.
Yeah. Sounds cool,
and
though.
Just a little bit of fun information that I'm pretty sure is cool. I can't remember if it's the Incubi or if it's someone else, but I'm pretty sure it's Incubi. Very often Dark Eldar armor have spikes inside pointing at the body. That just slightly cut and
that makes
and
sense.
hurt
Because if you remember, I know we keep referring to the tabletop today, which is so weird. We had a cloak of like it was like spikes in the cloak, so we could get bonuses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool.
So anyway, that I just went into a little bit of extra Drazar. But essentially, yeah, he pretty much he pretty much fell for a while, and then Karandras, who was an exarch of the Striking Scorpions, took over the Aspect Shrine, and was like, "Hey guys, patience and discipline, much better than being a Dark Eldar bitch."
Oh, them's fighting words.
Oh, take that, Dark Eldar. Although they're like my third, I think, favorite faction. Um, I like at some point we're going to talk about Ariman. He's like schemy little bastard. He's so fun. God, I love it. I find it hilarious that people were like, "Hey, Tash, you know the Thousand Sons?" And you're like, "Are those Sheepy's Dust Boys?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, they're my Dust Boys."
My Dust Boys. Like I knew straight away. I was like, wait, I know that name. Is it because Sheepy is like, ah, my babies every time. My favorites. Hello. So I am learning.
But yeah, there was one point where Drazar, the Incubi Lord, and Karandras, the new Striking Scorpion Phoenix Lord, dueled for 17 days.
Ugh, they're so dramatic. Like, just
Yeah.
shoot the other one.
And basically he like the Karandras, the Exarch turned Phoenix Lord, wasn't able to beat Ara slash maybe Drazar, and basically like pissed him off until he went into a frenzy of like rage and killing. And then he essentially like disappeared, using the striking scorpion like shadow technique or whatever the hell it was. He was like, haha, peace out, bitch, and then melted away. And
I'm sure that's exactly what he said.
it was like word for word verbatim.
Word. You were there. So
And he was like, peace out, bitch, and he melted into the shadows. And then the Drazar proceeded to murder all of his own disciples.
in a rage, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one way to deal with the Dark Eldar. Ooh.
So yeah, it's there's a different story from it, which is what the Incubi tell, but that's very likely from Ara's perspective, which is basically
he acted like a little bitch, and then he ran away.
Yeah. Well, no, they basically say that
Then they were all suddenly dead. You know, he must have killed them. It wasn't me. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Ara's fall, essentially.
Oh, fine.
They basically say like the Eldar were kind of a bit too patient and cautious and basically scaredy cats. So Ara was like, no, this is how you do it, and war and killing and gutting and blood, which never leads to anything bad. Slaanesh, cough.
I was doing a really delicate line, and I'm like, I have to breathe through this.
But basically, eventually he fell to Chaos or to the Dark Eldar or something along those lines. Basically, he got all corrupt and shit and fucked around with demons, and then
what a champ.
Yeah.
Good for him.
But it's essentially when he was like gathering people to his shrine for the Incubi. He like killed anyone who was weak or like a bit, kind of like shitty. And then basically anyone who could stand, like, not beat him, but just not die to him being pissed off and all angry. He would, teach them how to fight and be incubi and stuff like that. And then eventually, before he died, this is what the incubi say happened. He ended up fighting a shit ton of demons for like days and days and days. None of the other Phoenix Lords came to help him.
I was the best one out of all those saps.
And then basically he was consumed by chaos, and then taken over, and then what came back was so fucked up that all of his students went insane, and were like gibbering weirdos on the floor. And then they heard Ara's voice, and basically his voice was like, "Yo, stand up, bitches, fight me, like stand against me. This is your final test." And they all stood up and fought Ara, and like destroyed his mortal body, and then consumed his spirit.
But why? What? Why? Why would he want?
I don't know. It's what the incubi say.
Oh.
So
Okay.
the incubi are Dark Eldar. So
Yeah.
you know, do you like believe them if you like? I'm not sure I do. But that's basically the slightly
Their version of
more
events.
yeah.
I'm just cleaning up the golds now, so
Oh yeah.
lots of mess.
How do I have time to should
yeah,
I jump into something?
I'm happy to keep going. It's just I know you're hungry.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, food is a thing I will need at some point, but
So I'm
I
just
mean,
kind of like going in and tidying up. I've done the gold, so I just wanted to like.
to give you an idea, I've closed about 20 to 30 tabs, I think, and I've still got like 10 here, and then another like 7 or 8 here. So
I feel like I keep distracting you from the hit points that you want to do, and I'm like, yeah, but what about this? But I'm interested in it.
yeah, no, like that's great.
And the painting's taking 5,000 years.
So one interesting part of all the paths is it is possible to essentially like fall off the path. Not as bad as our striking scorpion / incubi friend did, but you know, essentially get lost and not really be able to maintain the path. Which if you can't manage your path that you're on, you basically leave the craft world, become outcast, and that's a path too.
Right. This just they made me laugh.
They have a stick up their butt.
They're so like
They really do.
prideful, aren't they? And like, oh well, if you why just help them get back on the bloody way that you want them to go. Banish them so they can become Dark Eldar and kill you later. It's a terrible idea.
Well, the outcast isn't the same as corruption. No. But no, they essentially they wander. Sometimes they become corsairs. Corsairs essentially like
The pirates,
you know.
yeah. I think you mentioned about it a bit earlier, but
the corsairs are essentially kind of the original middle ground.
Rogue trader?
Yeah, rogue trader. But they're essentially the middle ground between the Eldar and the Dark Eldar. Is, you know, the corsairs were like, yo, what up? We like to raid and kill, but we don't really do that much torturing or anything, so whatever.
We don't do it for funsies, we do it for loot.
So one thing that very often happens is the experience of outcasts is actually quite useful because it's just another perspective. So outcasts quite often serve as rangers. Rangers are actually quite fun. They're essentially like snipers, survivalists, pathfinders, you know, all that type of thing. They'll very often go out scouting first, or you know, anything along those lines.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they even on the path of the outcast, you end up being in the Eldar army and helping and all this type of thing. So,
I just was trying to think of something with the Emperor. I don't know why it came to me. Like, even if you're dead, are you still to the Emperor?
I mean, that's not untrue.
And I don't know why that is, but I bet it could happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even always if they fail. Like, sometimes they'll just have a bit of need to leave the, you know.
I'm off out for a bit. You're too restrictive, Mom.
Yeah. I'm sick of potatoes. I want to go eat something else.
Oh, the memes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But eventually, like, they'll come back if they haven't been exiled or thrown out. Sometimes they'll even be invited back.
Come back, we miss you.
But then others just enjoy the freedom and then become corsairs and yeah, they just basically, the corsairs just fuck around with lesser races, pretty much. They're like, oh, humans, yeah, sure, I'll take some treasure and booty.
Just, I need to get out of the train of thought. Don't mess around, yeah.
But like, to be fair, there are also Dark Eldar who are like, I'm not really that cool with pain and misery. I'll go, somewhere else. Sometimes they even join, go to the Craftworlds and become like proper Eldar and stuff.
That's weird. I mean, I guess they could leave the thing, but like, are they accepted? We're getting into Dark Eldar now again.
I mean, sometimes yes, no, it dependent. They're still Eldar. It's silly, but very much the Eldar are basically Jedi.
Yeah.
You got the dark side, you got the light side. It doesn't make that much sense. It's all a little bit silly. Whatever,
Whatever. It's fine. God, the detailing. I still hate these people.
I just want to say I accidentally clicked a like side link while I wasn't looking, which was just took me just directly to the Necrons. So I don't care what path you're on, Eldar. All paths lead to the Necrons.
All paths.
Eventually, you will find Steve.
Someone needs to find him. He's really late. What if he's not okay?
He's so late.
What if he's not okay? I don't know.
No. He's in suspended animation. He'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Another path is the path of the seer.
I can't believe I just did that. Sorry.
You good?
Yeah, I just made a mess with green, and I'm so annoyed.
No.
Path of the Seer.
Yes. Basically, mastering psyker and psychic abilities. Very, very especially like trying not to create holes in the warp, and also trying not to, Well, actually, to be fair, the Eldar are kind of like. Going back to talking about the old ones and everything, the Eldar kind of may have been genetically engineered to be specifically very potent in the warp and
Warpy
stuff. Yeah. So essentially, they kind of kick ass at being psychers, but
I don't want that to be my life. I think.
But they get like, proper training and become more powerful psychers. Yeah. Essentially.
Which is good if they're going to be messing around with it and teleporting around and such.
Yeah. They have like some artifacts and stuff like runes and stuff made of wraithbone and all this type of thing which can add to the power and help. They also have spirit stones that hold the souls of dead seers.
But those are supposed to be living their best on life on the...
But they can be more useful by helping to guide current seers. It's essentially, it's like
You are useful to me. Come out of
well,
death.
it's have you seen I want to say Mastermind, Megamind.
Megamind is the animation.
Yeah.
Mastermind's a TV show, right?
The Megamind, the animated film where he's a bad guy to begin with,
Yes.
but then isn't. Do you remember when he's tutoring the random dude he shot with superpowers?
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
The camera operator who's kind of a nerdy dork, and then he accidentally gets superpowers, and then he turns up as Ghost Dad.
Oh.
Essentially, it's that.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
it makes
it's
sense.
like,
If it gives them like a boost, then they're gonna do it.
I will guide you on your path to becoming a seer.
so.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And with them wanting the use, it's like I get it, but it's not. It wouldn't be. It's not very nice.
And also because they're kind of warp entities, I think it helps them like channel the energy and this type of thing. It's basically like a battery, if you want to get really technical with it. They carry around ancient
Ghost batteries.
grandparents. Yeah, like ancient ancestors who they use as batteries to like psychically move things with their mind.
I'd be so mad. Like,
Well, it especially if they like can't be asked to open a door and they're like,
Yeah.
Granddad, I'm just gonna use your spirits to open the door. It's like, what? Why?
back in my day, we had to walk across the room.
They do also have other uses, like they kind of help protect, like almost like a fog or a shield, I guess, from like demons and other things in the warp that might be like, hey, what's up with Psyker? The warp likes to eat Psykers. Or just like fuck with them.
Yeah, I feel like just don't be a psycho. If you, why did I pick my first character to be a psycho? In 40k. Don't be a psycho in 40k. Or if you are, die in a nice way.
Yeah. The becoming a seer is generally like a later path. Just purely because, you know, like if you're if you start earlier on as like an artisan, you know, a bone singer type thing, they can apply their psychic powers to that type of thing. So they can like they can use what they learned and then like craft cool things in the craft world, or like, you know, that type of thing. And then you move on to the Farseers.
Right. What do they do?
Farseers are like exarchs. You know, like the same way the seers would be, you know, essentially like a dire avenger. A Farseer is like a dire avenger exarch, but psycho. They have a tendency to be, you know, kind of leaders and, you know, they can often dictate what is going on and what a craft world, the leadership of the craft world, I guess, is the best way to describe that. They also have a tendency towards prophecy and divining the future and all that type of thing.
We don't like prophecies.
Well, one of the things, because Ianden is the craft world with the most like seers and farseers and that type of thing. I think they also have a lot of spirit seers. Spirit seers are essentially like they're farseers who can speak to the dead.
Mm-hmm.
But it's essentially they can communicate with the spirit stones like properly.
Yeah, I was gonna
So-
say, can they commune with them and
Yeah.
cool.
The problem with all of this bullshit is it means that if you're like an imperial guard on a random world, and you're like doofing along and you're like do, and then suddenly a strike team of Eldar appear and attack your outpost and kill everyone, and you're like, oh no, my life and my friends and everyone's dead, and you're like, why would you do this? And they're like, in 10,000 years you'll understand. and then they like Superman take off and like fly away,
I'm out.
and he's left standing there like, that explains nothing, and also will not be alive in 10,000 years. May die in the next like couple of days to like whatever. This is one of the crux issues of the Eldar, why they're assholes, is they don't explain anything. They have insights that can be confusing, or like even make Tzeentch be like, what was your train of thought there? So they'll often do stuff that doesn't make any sense to like the Imperium.
Oh.
Yeah,
I mean, I can see that happening. Sorry, I'm painting like quite far away here. I can see that happening and being really annoying. Where's my focus point here? About there. Have there been any like major things that they've not explained? Have they caused any wars by like trying to do that shit?
Yes. So, there is a theory that the Second War for Armageddon
I know of
was...
it.
You were in it.
Well, that hellscape, I don't think that was an accurate portrayal. I learned nothing.
It is essentially Ghazghkull, who is the orc war boss who like invaded Armageddon. He essentially like invaded Armageddon. There's a huge battle, and it kind of turned into this massive war, which nearly completely destroyed the planet and killed loads of people, and it was all kind of rough and not very great. I'm pretty sure it was the... I need to double check.
Yeah, double check. Probably the Eldar's fault. Everything's their fault.
It was the Eldar, but I can't remember which craft world it was.
Okay.
So I just need to see.
Sometimes when I tidy this paint up, I make it worse in a different place.
Yeah, so it was Eldred Ulthran, which is the Ulthway craft world. And he essentially guided Ghazghkull to basically steer Ghazghkull's path towards or past Armageddon.
Why?
So the quote is, and this is the quote for Eldrad, and again, this is just like, apologies, this is just one quote in a codex somewhere, which I just kind of rooted around for. Eldrad is the greatest among us. Wow. Sorry, had to.
Oh, you
he-
distracted me then.
He is the sun which eclipses the light of our stars. He is Ulthway, and the fate of our kind rests in his hands. His eyes are the keenest, no detail goes unnoticed. 4,000 runes can he cast, guarding our path through torment and war, death and salvation. He is the pathfinder, the seeker, the true guide. Even your race has trembled before his might, though you may not have known it. It was he who guided us to the orc known as Gazgul, and commanded us to steer his path to your world Armageddon. 10,000 Eldar lives would have been lost if he had not done so. What sacrifice is 1,000,000 humans for such a cause?
Mother bloody Eldar.
See, you can see why the Eldar are kind of assholes, because they're like, oh, we might lose like 10,000
They don't
Eldar.
even fully die.
I mean,
rocks.
yeah, they turn into rocks. we really do need the Tashnar 40k in a nutshell, because yeah, they just turn into rocks.
Oh god, they're such babies. Sorry, they bloody Eldar. I think I'm getting more annoyed by them as time progresses.
Oh yeah, no, like this is the thing is, as you know, they will randomly turn up and attack somewhere, or
yeah.
also that is correct. It is kind of tempting fate to call your planet Armageddon and then
I was
not
thinking
expect
that when
to...
I didn't know that like the War of Armageddon was on a planet called Armageddon. I thought it was just like drama.
I think it's Armageddon like 2 or 3 or 4 or something. So
like,
there are other ones.
Like the War in Heaven. It's not on a planet called Heaven, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Although to be you know, you did also think that Craftworlds were ships upon which you crafted. So, you know.
No, I thought it was a planet that made ships actually.
Oh.
And I was like, why are they called Craftworlds? I know they drive them around, but how do they do that? I do not know. It just moves.
Why don't they craft anything on this place called Craftworld?
You'd think they would. Anyway.
There's also warlocks. Warlocks are like, yeah, like Eldar warlocks. They're essentially like seers, psychers, who were also have already gone down the warrior path. They're basically like freaking psychic cannons. Eldar can do some ridiculous, like Eldar psychers are terrifying. I imagine you had a little bit of a look at like psychic abilities.
Yeah, I mean,
the Eldar psyker abilities are just like, I fire lightning from my hand.
So like sorcerers in 40k.
Yeah,
level 5 plus. Okay, I'm getting pretty close to like needing to go on to the next paint.
Okay.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm okay. We have hit like almost 1 a.m.
It's not 1 a.m.
It's 10 minutes to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, I told you I can just keep fucking going. Like unless you stop me, I'm just like, oh yeah. So also,
I am also in pain, so
yeah,
not loving that. But
well, should we call it
just...
before you go? We can like take the next 10 or 9 minutes.
I've just got a couple of little tweaks to do because I just messed up.
Sure.
But
I'll quickly go through some of the other paths as best I can while you're finishing up. So there's Path of Awakening. Basically, the Eldar learn how to analyze their surroundings and environment. You know, they notice things. It's basically like perception, the path.
Awareness, the path. Yeah.
Path of the Artisan goes off into like Path of Poet, Musician, Sculptor, blah 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 blah. It's basically all arty shit. Path of the Botanist, they like to grow plants or farm.
Okay.
Path of Command is kind of military command and basically general shit. They're called autarchs, and they're essentially commanders as opposed to specifically like combat warriors.
Okay.
Path of Damnation is pretty much what they call the Drukhari, so that's them.
They're on the path of damnation. That's so sad.
I mean, they feed on other people's energy to save their own souls. It's kind of
I probably do that
Path
too.
of the Dreamer is meditation and like controlling and directing their dreams, and sometimes it can let them like see glimpses of the future or like portents or something. Yeah, you know, it's a thing. Path of
Awesome.
Grief.
Of grief, like
Yeah.
sorrow kind of grief. Grief?
Legitimately, they go to funerals and feel sad.
How is that not the path to becoming Dark Eldar?
Well, because they feel sad. The Dark Eldar wouldn't feel sad.
They're so emo.
It's essentially they remember people's lost ones, lost loved ones, and friends without becoming like consumed to the bad emotions,
Aww.
and then letting Slaanesh be like, "Aha!"
Got him.
Path of the Healer basically involves about 7 to 10 years of learning and then debt for the rest of your life.
Right.
I feel like I hit a bit too close to home
Too
for like a lot of
accurate.
people right then. Yeah. But yeah, it's just basically physicians, surgeons, etc. Researchers as well for like biomedical
that
stuff.
makes sense.
Path of the Mariner. Basically, they're starships, like
Mini
crewmen,
captains.
officers.
Yeah.
Path of the Outcast, we've kind of already talked about. It's like Corsairs, Rangers, you know, people who want to wander away for a while. Path of the Scholar is academic knowledge, research, nerd shit.
Love it.
Path of the Seer is, you know, we talked about that, psycho stuff. Path of Service, where they basically want to...
They work in retail.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just kind of like they offer themselves to help people, like physical labor and just anything to kind of help other people. Cooks, clothes making, manual labor.
So
Path of Shaping is basically the path to becoming a bone singer. Part psyker, part artist, part engineer.
Yeah.
You sing up the wraith bone, or you know. Path of the Thought Talker. Basically a telepath.
Yeah. For some of these, do you have to like have had training in the others first, or can you just go straight into
So
the stone singer kind of?
Yeah, Path of Shaping would probably be you've already done the Path of the Artisan and the Path of the Seer.
Yeah, that's what. Okay.
And then you kind of like combine those together, but I'd say some of them definitely have prerequisites. You know, you can't take this talent until you've already taken this one.
As well, I know. Okay.
And then obviously Path of the Warrior is also one of them.
One of the options.
And also there are just the basic troopers who are called Guardians, who aren't a path. They're just essentially regular troopers who like any Eldar will kind of pop up and put on armor and fight if needed. especially if there's like a main world or a spirit stone or
Yeah, they
craftworld at stake.
need to be ready, don't they? So
Yeah.
Boop.
Essentially, there's no actual civilians in the Eldar. They're all military.
You
if-
have to be useful or else.
Yeah.
And then even when you're dead, you still have to be useful.
Yeah, you have to join the totally not a hive mind.
That you know of.
Well, I was being a little bit sarcastic
know,
there
I know.
because I suddenly thought to myself, how hilarious would it be that the thing that finally like threatens and fucks up the Tyranids is another hive mind, but this time of Eldar.
Yeah, get him. Oh, God, I'm just getting so frustrated with myself.
What's that?
Because I keep doing things wrong, and then, or I'll clean up an area and then I'll make a mess in another. Oh. So fiddly. Just leave it. I think I need to just leave it alone for now. I'm pretty happy with the basing of it all.
I think it all looks pretty good.
Let's turn this up a little bit, and you can have.
I mean, like this is the thing: is you're not gonna get the perfect,
I know.
Like you need time spent and
it's just
and
one of those
etc.,
things
so-
that's like. It's tiny things like around the mouth. It's not straight lines, and there's a little
Yeah.
smudge here, and I haven't been able to clean underneath the tabard. It's like I'm never gonna see that, but it's bothering me. And the more I put paint on, it's just like to clean up. I'm just getting aggravated. So
yeah.
and now I keep seeing bits, and I'm like, what if I just tidy that bit up? What if I just tidy this bit up?
Well, you can step back and gain some perspective,
Yeah, I've
and
been
then
looking at
decide
this
if you want to do that.
magnifying
Okay,
glass
we're
for a long
We're
time.
not listening. Okay, cool.
I am listening. I'm just ignoring.
Like, just take a moment, step back, and it's like, dab.
I'd already picked up my paintbrush by that time. Oh, it's so finicky to get. It's so finicky to get into places sometimes that I completely understand why people build them or paint them before they're built. Not that I would like even be able to do that, but I get it. Oh, it's so aggravating. Sorry. Is there anything you want to say before we sort of? Was that all the paths?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, it's kind of time for Tash's thoughts. I mean, if Tash could chill out.
Have you ever known?
No, I haven't, but
I think the Eldar are really interesting. I like the specializations, and I can understand why people are
Yeah.
annoyed by that being sort of cheapened. Is I don't want to say stolen from them. I want to say it's cheapened, but I hate them.
But at the same time, you look at that miniature and you're like, they're kind of cool.
It's coming together, and it's gonna look really good. I hate them right now.
But in terms of like badassery, like they've got this really like sleek, scary, fuck you up kind of vibe, which I jive with.
There's so much that they can do and mess with. And as you say, they are total assholes. Like with the quote about, well, 10,000 Eldar would have died, but what's that to him? What's 1 million human lives to 10,000 Eldar? And it's good to sort of see and hear about, and it's interesting to know about the different paths. But I just need to stop looking at this miniature right now because we've been
put it down.
We've been here for a while.
Put it down.
I can't because it's out of
Put it down.
focus.
Put it down. Well, we're not talking about the miniature anymore because we're talking about the. There we go.
Ouch.
Oh, it's an uphill battle. So yeah, it's really interesting because like the Eldar kind of like this is the really weird thing about 40k. You can literally point at any faction and be like, it's their fault.
Yeah. No, it is.
So a lot of the conversation around 40k is whose fault ultimately is it? I generally weasel it down to the Emperor, but
He wasn't
and,
here for this bit.
No, but ultimately it's kind of like all the problems in the galaxy are his fault, aside from
I think it's the old
like
ones.
yeah, but the Emperor is just like the new old one essentially.
What if he is an old one?
Yeah, I mean he
He
could
is
be
old as hell. So,
yeah,
do you want to see how many paintbrushes I've used today?
sure.
Let me put the focus back in.
Unos.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I've had to wash the small 3 paintbrushes about 4 times.
Oh.
And I saw a comment earlier. What is a sponge? It is just a like a.
It's a whoopsie.
They're
Sponge.
just called cosmetic sponges. Just little makeup sponges you can get in, supermarkets or beauty stores. And I use it. I have one for when I'm building, and it has glue all over it because I like clean up the spare glue. And like when I'm painting, I can catch. If I'm quick enough, I can catch the paint before it dries and take off most of it. And it helps with mistakes. And same with glue, it helps clean up the mistakes. And with the plastic glue, obviously, it melts the plastic a bit so it can melt together. And that usually just cleans off the excess that's seeping out.
And we don't like excess in this episode.
No, we do. I mean, we do. Here are the paints I've used. But, sorry, I'm rubbing my eyes now. I think that the Eldar they just need to stop being so dramatic. Calm down. Go to the scholarly.
I mean, you're saying that as a fan of the Necrons?
They're not dramatic. They've had a hard time.
Have you met Trazen the Infinite? He's pretty fucking dramatic. and Orican, Mr. I Told You.
I told you when you said it earlier. It's dying. Oh dear. But maybe we should do the outro.
Sure.
Now.
Yeah, that's the thing we can do.
Definitely wrote. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching 40,000 Lays.
Yeah.
I hope that you have enjoyed the Eldar episodes. If you haven't already, feel free to check out the Necrons, which are the previous episodes in the series. Moving forward, we are looking at next month is going to be Tzeentch, so I'm gonna have to look at what models I want to get into paint, and Sheepy now has to do some research into Tzeentch, his favorite Chaos God.
Oh yeah.
And on Patreon, the vote will be up by the time you see this for the next topic, which will be in September, which will be between Khorne, Nurgle, and the Emperor. So if you want to be able to vote on that, please do feel free to check it out on Patreon. It is a great way to support the videos happening. And there are certain goals on there. So if you want to check those out, there are things like pay Sheepy and myself a wage, because right now it's all going to models and paints. There's goals on there about doing 2 episodes or 2 topics a month instead of just 1. And others. So check that out on patreon.com/40,000 layers. I will put a link in the description. I'll also put a link in the description for Sheepy's channel. And all that jazz. Sheepy, is there anything you want to say?
ultimately the beginning of the Patreon currently is just funding the paints and buying the miniatures and everything. So
Yeah.
that's the main thing that would you well we I say we that is the patrons being used for.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I was just thinking to myself, like, if we get the Emperor as the topic, like, what the hell would you paint? But I guess Adeptus Custodes would be the
Paint a garbage can.
wow. Like you'll like when we get to if we do the Emperor, which I don't think we will,
I see.
you'll hate it when I start talking about the Emperor. We'll talk about him, and you'll just be like, "Wow, this guy is a giant asshole."
Yeah, I mean, I already know that a little bit, but it'll be good to have a lot more in-depth lore about. I'll be able to bring
About
ammo
why
to the
he's an
fight.
asshole.
Yeah, I'll bring
Yeah.
bring receipts.
as opposed to he eats eyes,
He eats
which
eyes.
is which is very similar to your roundup of the Eldar,
Yeah.
which is
Why are they
basically
even mad?
turn into stones.
They'll turn into rocks. So.
Yeah.
But yes.
Aside from that, I'm Sheepdog. I run The Wandering Inn, which is a TTRPG channel. Currently, we only have one show, but more are coming. And yeah, if you're interested in TTRPG stuff, I am also known for occasionally running 40k shows. And I have a plan to do a Rogue Trader show. So
Wow.
that's going to be fun.
I'm not invited.
You refused to do it,
Yes.
like, outright.
So he didn't invite me because I told him not to.
Yes, I think it was the third rant you had about the systems.
Look, the rule books are
Yeah,
ridiculous.
but I mean, that wasn't an invitation to start. I agree with you, but
You agree? Good, because I'm right. But that's it. I'm really great at outros. I'm just like, I should just say bye. On the video.
well, I don't think you mentioned where you can catch the.
Oh, well, you can watch 40,000 Layers live on twitch.tv/Tashnar, which is the first Thursday of every month, and videos will be releasing on YouTube the following Saturdays. So directly after that and through the month, they will be split into separate videos on my YouTube, which is youtube.com/Tashnar. Wow.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Bye.